find my way.
What's up guys, Mel here back in the studio, and today we're going to be taking a look at my remake of The Way by Trevor Omoto. Let's jump right into it. Okay guys, so I started making this track probably a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month ago at this point. You can see here it's 49 tracks, and that includes a couple tracks up here with reference tracks. Now you'll notice the first thing you see right here, probably that stands out to you, is there's not actually that many instrumental tracks or MIDI tracks. But in fact there are like probably 14 or 15 automation clips, and almost all of these are actually for the leads. So there's a bit of interesting sound design and, like I said, a ton of automation clips that really make this song work. So let's jump right into it and see how I did it. Just to prove my point here, I'm going to first play the leads with all the automation clips, and then I'm going to turn the automation clips off, and you'll see just how much of a difference they actually make. So here's with the automation clips on. And here is with the automation clips off. Yeah, so they make a pretty big difference. So first, let me just go over some of the sound design really quickly, some of the presets I used, and then we'll jump in and actually take a look at all the different automation clips and why I'm using them. Then I just have a little vocal sample here. I think almost all of these leads are actually from my sound bank, except for maybe one or two. Yeah, it looks like these are all from my sound bank. But yeah, those are the main leads. Those are all going to this bus. I just have some EQ, nothing crazy, just a little bit of high end, some distortion, Camel Crusher. I love Camel Crusher, sausage fattener, and just some reverb. So really nothing too crazy. So with that out of the way, let's jump in and see what we did with these automation clips. The first one I created is this balance automation clip. This is controlling the volume, and this really just gives it kind of a sort of organic flow. It kind of lets the melody come in and out, and it sounds like this. On top of that, I added pitch bending, and what I did here, if I turn this off, so now you can actually see the pitch bends here. They sound like this. They really give it a ton of life. On top of that, if you didn't know, you can actually open this up and enable an LFO. So you turn that on, and then I have this thing right here controlling the LFO of the pitch automation. And that comes into effect later on here. If I turn that off, it's just a static note. Turn it back on. Really gives that melody a lot of character. Okay, another automation clip I added here, which doesn't do a whole ton. This kind of just follows along with the volume, but this is a cutoff automation for the leads. So if I don't have it, it sounds like this. And if I do have it, it sounds like this. Just helps add some more movement to the leads. Another important automation clip I have here is reverb. You can see this is the reverb, and it just kind of flows along with the melody. It sounds like this. I think it's a little more subtle than maybe the volume automation clip or something like that, but it still adds a lot to the sound. Now I have a couple more automation clips. As you can see here, they're not nearly as important. This one here is an EQ. This is actually just changing the character of the sound a tiny bit between the sort of A-B section. And then here I have some automation clips. I actually have a macro controlling, this is a serum preset. So this macro just adjusts the cutoff so it gives it more sustain. I have another cutoff filter specifically for that sound, and then I have some panning going on and things like that. So pretty much the main ones are this volume, the cutoff, reverb, and the pitch bending. Another interesting thing, like I just mentioned, this sort of has an A-B style melody, and here are the synths for the B style melody. So then layered on top of that, I have this actual, it's a vocal sample. I just reverse some of those things, and it sounds a little bit weird on its own, but layered together, it just gives the melody sort of a nice organic vocal sounding feel. It's not exactly like the original track. I think in the original track, Trevor might have used the actual vocal he used in the track to create those vocal chops. I couldn't get it quite exactly, but it's close enough where I was happy with it. Okay, for chords, we just have a couple little simple things. Nothing crazy. Let me find it. Yeah, we just have two layers. The first one sounds like this. kind of this weird cutoff thing. I have a little bit of distortion, and then the second one sounds like this. It's pretty low in the mix, but both of those are distorted and just give a little bit of fill out the frequencies. One of the things that helps these chords, as you can actually see, I've linked this cutoff automation. I have an automation clip, and it looks like this. You can see that going up and down, and this is also the same automation clip. It's just right here. That controls both the chords as well as the basses. So with that said, let's talk about basses. Okay, so basses, I sort of have 4 different layers, if you want to say it like that. This first layer is this big hit, right? So it sounds like this. It's big, fat, just distorted saw sort of sound out to the side. The main one is this sound. It's just a silent preset. I just created it from scratch. It's a saw and some white noise, and it's distorted together. I have that sent to a bus here, and it just has a bunch of distortion, more distortion, more distortion. And then I have this sound layered with it, and that sound just a bit more aggressive. So that's the big main hit. Then I have the second layer down here, which sounds like this. And that is, I think, like 6 or 7 layers. I think they're all in Serum. Just, these are, again, all presets from my sound bank. I just went through and grabbed a bunch of random presets. Just some more sort of aggressive sounding basses. So this is sort of the main mid bass. Then the third layer, you could say, is these little one shots I added that just sort of help emphasize the main bass line. These sound like this. They're actually pretty simple bass shots, but layered up with the main bass, it just helps add a lot more character. And then of course, layered with that, the fourth layer now is going to be the sub layer. And this sounds like this. Nothing complicated with the sub. I just have a little bit of distortion on it, I believe. And then, like I mentioned before, all these layers are routed to the same bus. Here, it's called the bass bus, and I have the filter automation. So this is all connected to this filter, which really gives it a lot of movement and kind of sucks you in and out. So let me play this without the filter. It sounds like this. It actually sounds pretty bad. And then if I put the filter in, it sounds like this. So with all of that together, here is what all the instruments without the drum sounds like. So really quickly, let's just move on to the drums. Nothing too complicated. I have this kick. This is a kick that I use for Don't Leave Me Now. I have these claps, and these claps are actually kind of what helps this track along. As you can see, here's I have a couple claps, and then I actually have this cool little cash register sound. And then what happens is right here, you can see I have the same clap just moved forward a little bit, so it kind of does this offbeat thing right here too. And the other thing that really helps out with this track is this section here. I have all these effects and just these kind of warpy things that follow along with the bass line. They sound like this. And that's sort of the main drums. Down here I have some downlifters. I have some rides coming in here as well as some hi-hats. I have a pretty simple riser here. And that's pretty much it. As a little bonus here, I didn't mention earlier, I've actually gone ahead and created the break as well. It sounds like this. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. I just have a bunch of more layers and stuff. I think I might have used some of the same presets. I have some chords going on, a little tape stop in here, and not too many drums. So if you want to download the FLP, you're welcome to check this out and really tear apart what's going on in this section, but just as a little bonus, I decided to throw that in there. That's going to be a wrap for this walkthrough, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out this video. Like I said, FLP will be available as always, so go check that out in the description if you want to download it and get all these sounds and samples and stuff. Otherwise, I'm going to do a final playthrough of the entire thing, and as always, I will catch you back in the next video. See ya.